Okay, so apologies that I have to end the video lecture I just started, because there had been power interruption, and hence there is also a consequent interruption in the internet. So this would be part three, because I cannot, of course, redo those that I have already discussed or covered. And so I have to take a new video lecture, and we'll be we will be labeling this as part three. So we are discussing on the psychological models of personality, and part of this part of the theories under this would be that of Maslow. And I'm sure you are very much acquainted as to the theory of Maslow. Um, his is a pyramid, no, and um, the focus is on the different needs, no. So this is a hierarchy of needs, and there is such thing as physiological safety, belonging, esteem, and self-actualization needs. Okay, so perhaps we just focus onto the applications of the need theory of Maslow in sports and exercise. No? Anyway, his theory is not new to you. There's no other new information. I mean, relative to the hierarchy of needs, it would still be the same as those which were um, taught to you, no, in your other prof ed subjects, or even in your gen ed courses, no, or I'm sure even in your economic class in your senior high, or in your junior high, you have heard about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So we look into the hierarchy, um, and anchor it to theory. I mean to sports, no? So we have the following as the physiological needs, no, of an athlete, no: food, water, warmth, rest, no. For the athletes or coaches, there's always a necessity to keep their physique, their body in good condition. Okay, and that of course um, is directed to physical conditioning. Okay? Because whether we like it or not, puhunan natin ang ating katawan. So, ang physiological needs ng katawan ay natural, dapat matugunan. No? So, irrespective of whether you are into sports and exercise or not, there is a requisite, there is a need, no? There is a necessity, no, that we feel in our needs um along this level. Okay? The need for safety and security, no? The need to be protected in the coaching relationship, no? The coachee, of course, relies on the coach, no? So yung thought na I have my coach with me, I may have um, butterfly in my stomach. I mean, that is when your coachee feels anxious prior the competition. But the reassurance, the the protection that is expected, no, by the coachee, um, I mean, that they expect, no, their coaches, no, to give, no, these reassurances to them, that is under this category of need. Okay. Also in the hierarchy is the belongingness needs, no? That sense of belonging, especially when you are in a team, and when um you compete as a team, no, for team sports. When you compete as a team, um, there is this there is this desire also that you are supported by your team members. Okay, and of course we have the esteem needs, no? So for sports or even for exercise, there is what we call prestige, no? There is motivation to excel, motivation to win, okay? Motivation to keep becoming better each day, okay? And the last could be the self-actualization, the need for self-actualization. Okay? You see, in sports, like any other endeavor, no, we always have potentials to unlock. No? Bakit ba tayo nagtitrain? Bakit kailangan nating um, maging religious sa ating mga routines? No? Yan ay dahil meron tayong potential na kailangang i-refine, kailangan nating hasain ang ating mga skills, no? And that is always contributory to our to that sense of fulfillment, no? Which is the very characteristic of self-actualization needs. Okay? Then we also proceed to the social learning theory of Albert Bandura. So you always have to go back and to these factors which are important for us to understand the mechanism of behavior. No? So Albert Bandura's theory, if you recall, no, yung Bobodal experiment, no? It's observational learning theory, no? Kung minsan ang isang neophyte or amateur athlete, medyo nangangapa pa yan sa kompetisyon, hindi pa niya masyadong gamay ang lahat. Pero kapag napaligiran siya ng mga team members na skilled or na who play with passion, who may not be the best but can be good, no, support or role models, no. um these are all contributory to the success of that athlete, no. So it says here that we have personal and environmental factors, no, which are of course contributory to our behavior. Okay? Still under social learning, we have the um, classical and operant conditioning. No, if you recall Pavlov and his classical conditioning, and Skinner and his operant conditioning, no? So what we actually what we are most interested here is that we learn through reinforcements, no? That is through rewards and punishment. What do we mean by that, no? Rewards, is it not that winning is rewarding? Okay, in the same manner as most probably we treat losing as or failure as what? A sort of punishment, no? So since we desire to always win, no, we desire to always um have like when we do things, we always would think about the best, if not a good consequence of our actions, no? So um the role of reinforcements on behavior, on the behavior specifically of the athlete, no. So uh now um how can the social learning theory influence, or how can it be something that, or how can it be relevant rather in the field of sports and exercise? So you have there Social learning theory explains how we acquire patterns of sport-related behavior, even in exercise, no? Bakit ba tayo inspiradong mag-exercise? Hindi ba dahil sa mga nakakasalamuha at nakakasama natin within our social context, no? So kung ang environment mo ay health conscious, that is they really make it sure that they follow a particular exercise or a routine. um Tendencies are you get to adopt, this kind of attitude, this kind of disposition. Okay? So it's true with love of sports. No? When for example, in the family, um, you have the potential to uh, to be a musician, no? And because of this, because of the perhaps potential or talent of the people around you, you also get to love, music, no? And you get to siguro pursue a degree or a program um, along music, no? So social learning theory helps explain patterns of sport-related behavior, including aggression. Why is it that, for example, yung nangyari sa Gilas Pilipinas, no, remember the time that the team Gilas Pilipinas was suspended because of the physical fight that they have while on a basketball match, no? I think international ano pa nga ito eh, international competition, no? So, bakit nangyari 'yon? Paano kaya parang nagkaroon ng parang na-fuel yung kanilang desire to engage into a fight, no? So, aggressive behaviors in general, verbal, physical, no, are byproduct of what we observe, what we see within our environment. No? So tendencies are we get to adapt, we get to also manifest or show what people within our context, our social context especially, are doing. Okay? So therefore, coaches and even athletes, no, are or can be potential role models, no, what others see on athletes or coaches, no, are very possible for replication. So yung especially kung iniidolo kayo, parang si Iyala, no, kapag maraming nag-iidolo sa iyo, ang tendency either gayahin kanila, no. So, I mean, gagayahin ka nila, that's the possibility. And when that happens, um, there can be what we call um, adaptation of what you learn from the society, the influence of the people around you. Okay? So, then we also have personality traits or dispositions. Okay, so what are traits? These are relatively stable, highly consistent attributes that exert widely generalized causal effects on behavior. So like temperament, um, traits, as per literature, no, are also um, dispositions, innate dispositions, no? So, parte din 'yan ng ating mga kasama din 'yan sa mga katangiang namana natin o nai-pass down sa atin from our parents, no? And you see, traits are relatively stable, no? So, what do you mean by relatively stable? No? This is what makes us one integrated or integrative, uh, unique individual, no? So, what do you mean by that? While our traits may be diverse, no, and usually if we look unto our traits depending on our roles. Halimbawa, nanay ka, anong mga traits ang meron ka? Ano yung nangingibabaw na characteristic mo in terms na sa tingin mo ay consistent, kasi sa tingin mo ay distinguishing. Kumbaga parang nangingibabaw kapag sinabing Jonah, ano yung nangingibabaw? Nakatangi ang meron yung taong yan. Okay? So, um, highly consistent siya. So, kaya nga across roles, teacher man, pagiging professional role man, personal role man, sa family man, sa community man, sa um, sa pangalan niyan, friends man, makikita mo yung traits na to. Okay? So, ang trait therefore implies consistency and generalizability. Now, there's what we call trait personality, which refers to unstable, constantly changing attributes that affect behavior. Okay? So, what are some of the traits theories? Now, we have that of Alport, to which he explained on three levels. No? So, there are three kinds or three levels of traits that actually can be dominant to a person or can be seen to a person. We have the cardinal, central, and the secondary traits. No? So what are cardinal traits? These are traits that are dominant, that dominate an individual's whole life, often to the point that the person becomes known specifically for these traits. No? So yun yung parang pinaka-remarkable, kaya nga siya cardinal. No? Halimbawa kapag sinabing um, sino ba ang example natin, no? Mother Teresa, no? Si Mother Teresa of Calcutta, no? Um, he is a very helpful, pious person, whose service for people is selfless, 'di ba? Kung nasundan ninyo o kung sinusundan ninyo yung buhay ni Mother Teresa, no? So kapag sinabing Digong, no, Duterte, no, ano ba yung nakita nyo kay Duterte? Ano ba yung pinoportray ng media noon nung siya pa yung president natin? Okay? So ano yung surfacing? Kumbaga parang what makes you what makes a very distinguishing trait, no, na para bang this is where you are known. Okay? On the other hand, we have central traits. Now, these are general characteristics that form the basic foundations of personality. When you are, for example, being asked, no, how or what you think about yourself, no, yung mga adjectives na ginagamit natin, ilan doon ay or majority doon ay central traits, no? Okay, so these are the general characteristics that we have as a person. And then we have secondary traits. These are sometimes related to attitudes or preferences, yung mga gusto mo, yung mga parang attitudinal level, no? Your preferences, okay? So which appear only in a certain situation or under specific circumstances. No? So, for example, when you are on a traffic, no? What is your reaction? No? Either you are a calm person or either you are an impatient one. Okay, so parang situational 'yan, no? So in this context, ano ka? Ano ang katangian mo? Okay? And then, ayan, so yun po yun. We also have that of Carl Jung, so extraversion and introversion. Okay? I'm sure you already know this. Extraversion, energy is directed outwards, meaning to say that you are sociable, you are assertive, you rather would want to do things with others, no? Para bang mas ganado ka kapag ikaw ay uh, in a social context. Ang introvert naman usually ay introverted, no? So energy is directed toward the self. And hence one is withdrawn, one who is introverted is withdrawn. They are often shy. They tend to focus on themselves. Okay? So, alin kayo dun sa dalawa? Introverted, extroverted. Okay? Now, may mga pagkakataon na bakit ganun? Parang feeling ko both. Ano yung nangingibabaw? Kasi may mga pagkakataon na 'di ba, kapag hindi natin feel yung mga tao sa paligid natin, mas gusto nating maging, in solitary, 'di ba? Okay, so, depending onto perhaps some factors like this, no? But nevertheless, there can be instances to which we can be introverted or extroverted. But as I mentioned, alin ang nangingibabaw? Are you more of extrovert or introvert? So perhaps you try to reflect. Then we also have Eysenck, Hans Eysenck theory. So dito, um, kinuha niya yung introversion and extroversion ni Carl Jung pero dinagdagan niya ng neuroticism and psychoticism. Okay? Ganun pa rin ang meaning ng introvert and extrovert. No? So ano naman yung neuroticism? Neuroticism is or refers to being unstable. Diba? May mga pagkakataon na we are in this equilibrium. We find ourselves um we get easily anxious, no? We tend to worry, we tend to be moody, no? We tend to be emotional. Pero may mga pagkakataon din na we are relaxed, we are calm, we are unworried, we are unreactive, no? So, yung psychoticism, talagang ano na yun ha, psychotic sabi nga nila, 'di ba? Medyo in its strictest sense, 'no, siguro ay may mga, um, psychological ano, implications, 'no, I mean, in terms of disorders. But, in this dimension, okay, or in this context, okay, psychoticism would be those that who show the following traits, no? Lacking in empathy, no? Lacking in empathy, yung parang talagang indifferent ka na lang talaga, no? You are cruel, you are troublesome, you are aggressive. Okay? And then we also have the Big Five model. Bakit siya Big Five? So ano lang, tandaan nyo yung ocean. Ocean as in ano ba yung ocean? Openness to experience, conscientiousness, extraversion, emotionality, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Okay? So, um, uh, this has to do, the basis of which has to do with the works of Galton and even the works of Hans Eysenck. Okay? And then we also have the interactionist theory, that of Kurt Lewin, who proposed that in terms of behavior, it's both a function of the person and the environment. Okay? Meaning to say, it's always an interaction of the self to that of the environment. Okay? So meron siyang touch influence ng environment. Okay? Para bang how you react, for example, how you respond when you are in a social situation. Okay? So that would be one that looks onto your um personal onto your personal dispositions and eventually to the influence of the environment to you. Okay? Now, in terms of, okay, still under personality, we also consider personality profiling. Kaya natin dinidiscuss ang personality hindi lang para maintindihan natin ang ating mga coaches or athletes, no? At hindi lang din, at syempre ang pag-intindi sa kanila ay premised uh, by personality profiling, no? Um, kung minsan kasi kung ano yung mga observations natin sa kanila, hindi sapat yun. Kung ano yung mga nag-gather natin na pagkakakilanlan nila base sa kung ano ang nasasabi o feedback ng iba, hindi po yun enough. Kaya kailangan natin ng personality profiling. And personality profiling means you do personality testing. Okay? Kaya meron itong tinatawag na Griffiths list, meron itong athletic motivation inventory kasi ang mga tinitingnan niya ay mga iba't ibang katangian ng atleta. Okay? And then we also have yung POMS, Profile of Mood States, no? So in terms even of the psychological profiles, you may wish to venture on a research along this, no? Psychological profiling, no? So you look into the level of tension, depression, anger, vigor, and even fatigue and confusion among athletes, no? Particularly those who play in the university meet, for example, no? So there you have the profiling, mood profiling. Okay? Bakit? Ano ang pwedeng um, output nun? Ang pwedeng output nun ay maliban sa makikita mo yung mood profile nila, ay pwede ka sigurong mag-come up ng mga programs. No? Halimbawa, makita mo na high level ang depression nila. Madali silang magalit, madali silang mapagod, tapos madali din silang madistract. No? Ano ang pwede mong gawing mga siguro programs or activities na isama mo sa iyong um, athletic development program, no? So mga tipong ganito. Okay? Then meron din tayong mental health model, no? So the iceberg profile. You may wish to expound your knowledge on this by looking into what is this iceberg profile, no? So there is an assumption that those with more positive mental health, so ibig sabihin mga positibo ang katangian, ay mas likely na maging successful kaysa sa mga ang dominant ay yung negative ang katangian. Okay? So, while this may be an assumption or a hypothesis, there is always what we call um, indirect or direct relationship, 'di ba? It's not always the case. So therefore, kailangan nating tingnan talaga yung katangian ng mga atleta kasi that's the only possible way na we could help them. Okay? So, what will you do? Oh? Aside from you can actually do skill testing kasi syempre kung coach ka, ang ina-after mo ay yung after, are you only after to the skills of the athletes or you are also into the discipline, okay, and to the personality. So therefore, what you can do is to do some sort of screening. Okay? At meron tayong mga screening tools, no? So ano yung mga screening tools natin? Ito, sports personality questionnaire, no? These are searchable online. However, as to the availability, kasi may mga questionnaires na commercialized. Ibig sabihin ay kailangang bilhin mo bago mo siya mabuksan. Itong psychological skills inventory, I think this is readily accessible and downloadable. So is with the athletic coping skills inventory, no? Okay. So I think that is where it ends, no? Now, siguro tingnan natin 'to, bakit ano ba ang importansya ng mga personality test? Puwede ba niyang, i-provide, i-lay down kung magiging successful ba yung future talent mo, okay? There is what we call talent identification. 'Di ba naalala niyo nung ini-introduce natin ang psych and, I mean sports and exercise psych, part ng mga concepts yang talent identification. Okay? So in talent identification, um sige, wait lang. I have to answer this. Okay, so I think that concludes our discussion on personality. Thank you for reaching this part of the slide, and good day and God bless.